Okay, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am trying to do something new right now and going live with, I've gone live before, but never with a script. So I'm pretty nervous about this, but we're gonna try it. So, hello. If you don't already know, I have a YouTube channel and I'm going through this journey, kind of mimicking the book Mom Seeks God by Julia Raller, where she practices one of 12 spiritual disciplines every month for a year. And so I'm doing that on YouTube. And this month, the spiritual discipline is community or fellowship. So practicing community or Christian fellowship as a spiritual discipline. And so I wanted to share on Facebook. I wanted to share this on my group page that I have for my YouTube channel. And so I'm going to share this video too there, but because there's not a lot of people over there yet, I thought I'd do it on my main page, if that makes sense. So yeah, talking about, hey Marlene, the best gift you can give this Giving Tuesday. Usually when we think about Giving Tuesday, we're thinking about financial gifts that we can give. And but I wanted to take kind of a spin on that. And I mean, like, if you're still looking for somewhere to give this Giving Tuesday financially, feel free to check out the post I just made. Kingston and I are planting a church in Ferguson, a missional community church. So if you are looking to give financially somewhere, feel free to check out that post. But that's not what this post is about. But usually on Giving Tuesday, we think about giving financially, but I want to kind of take a flip on that, tying it into the spiritual discipline that I'm focusing on this month on my YouTube channel, which is community. The best gift you can give this Giving Tuesday is a gift of your time. I'd say especially quality time, undivided attention. Time is the best gift you can give this Giving Tuesday. So kind of going more into depth with that, you can give the gift of time, of undivided attention to your kids. So obviously kids need undivided attention, and I think that we as parents don't realize how often we're multitasking, and what we're missing out on with our kids. I know that I'm guilty of that a lot because I'm usually cooking or cleaning or doing something, anything else, when the kids are like asking for attention. And it's kind of difficult for me to really like look back over like the past few days and think, did I give them like 15, 30 like minutes of just like straight undivided attention? Usually when they're calling my name, they say it like 12 times, and then I'm annoyed and I'm like, yes. And I try to remember to say yes instead of what, because I don't want them answering me what, so I try not to answer them what. So I say yes, and you know, sometimes it's something annoying, but usually, like, oftentimes they just literally want attention. They just want me to see them do some cool ninja move or dance move or something like that. I'm trying, like right now I don't have the kids. My mom has them. She keeps them on Tuesdays and Thursdays for me. And I'm trying really hard to like get into the habit of working really hard when I don't have them, so that when I'm with them, I can give them undivided attention. Sometimes, like if you work from home or if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're doing everything at once, and so you feel like you're with them all the time. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I feel like I'm with them all the time. So obviously I'm giving them attention like all day long. They always have me. I don't work from outside the house. But that's not the same as, I almost feel like I give them better attention on the days where my mom watches them. Like today is Tuesday and we went to Bible study fellowship, so I gave them, they were in a classroom for Bible study fellowship for a couple hours, and then we went straight from there to my mom's house. So I don't have them a lot on Tuesdays. I feel like I give them better attention those days because I miss them. And so I'm trying to get into the rhythm of like working in the time that I've set aside to work and focusing on that and not getting distracted by dishes or anything, and then really honing in on them and like just focusing on them when I'm with them, if that makes sense. So I want to challenge you to give your kids just like 15 minutes of undivided attention today. If you can do more, do more. I remember on Thanksgiving, Zion played an original song for all of us on the keyboard, and he played for like 15 minutes straight, and we didn't know we didn't know when he was going to stop playing. But it was really beautiful, and it was great to give him that undivided attention. He loved it. It was a blessing to him, and it was a blessing to me and to us to enjoy him like that. So another person that you can gift the gift of time, the best gift you can give this Giving Tuesday, your time, quality time to, is your spouse. I think oftentimes it's really easy to forget that our spouses too need undivided attention. Fortunately, Kingston and I, he's over there, that's why I looked over there. We have the Weekend to Remember coming up this weekend, and so we're going to be able to give our marriage some undivided attention that we don't really, we go every year even though it's the same material, because it's a time that we kind of have sanctified. We have it carved out so that at least once a year we're giving our marriage and our relationship and one another undivided attention. And I think that's necessary. And I think the enemy really like attacks it, like, because before the Weekend to Remember we often fight, which has happened a couple times recently, like in the past week. We get into arguments and stuff, and at the Weekend to Remember we almost always get into an argument. But partially because we don't give like undivided attention to our marriage, to our relationship throughout the year. So some ways that you can do that, I want to challenge you to do that today. Give your spouse eye contact, just holding eye contact while you guys are talking. Don't, be on your phone, on Facebook, checking emails, cooking, looking at the stove or whatever. Just give each other eye contact. Holding hands, it's a way to give attention, even if you can't have that eye contact because you're doing something else. Just giving loving touch is a way of giving attention. You can ask what God is doing in their life, and that's the question I think even like Christian couples struggle, like sometimes being with we struggle with being with our spouse with God. We kind of forget that like God is there with us, and just acknowledging his presence in the room can like change the atmosphere, especially if it's a negative atmosphere. If your spouse isn't a believing spouse, just asking them like what was a win that they had today, or what was a win and what was something that was frustrating about their day. It's just a way to like cultivate intimacy and quality time. So staying on the same theme, the best gift that we can give is quality time, is undivided attention, and staying on the theme of the spiritual discipline of community, right, and fellowship. So we talked about communing with our children. And I left that out. I was going to also say that you can ask your children, where did they see Jesus today? Or where did they experience beauty in their day? If you're like a non-believer, your children aren't used to that kind of language yet, you can just introduce it with, where did you see something beautiful today? Because all truth is God's truth, and God is creator of all things, and God is beautiful, and he loves beauty. So communing with our children, acknowledging God when we're communing in relationship with our children, acknowledging God in our relationship with our spouse, communing with our spouse, and then communing with the Lord himself. We can commune with God outside of communion. And so on Giving Tuesday, giving God undivided attention. And I'm going to talk about that in a different way. Oftentimes we talk about it when we're talking about communion, and we're talking about having a prayer closet or a quiet time. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit different of a way today. Communing with God, I think, first needs to begin with communing with ourselves, and it's going to sound like I'm contradicting because I'm talking about Christian community as a spiritual discipline, so being with others. But I think being alone with ourselves and alone with God, being alone with ourselves in front of or in the presence of God will make us better in community with other people. Being alone with ourselves in the presence of God will make us we will be so much better with our kids and with our spouses. And I want to share some stuff. Augustine, one of the church fathers, said, "How can you draw close to God when you are far from your own self?" This is very interesting, and this is a concept that we just kind of encountered maybe a couple years ago, and it really is radical if you really think it through and apply it. John Calvin in 1530 wrote, "Our wisdom consists almost entirely of two parts, the knowledge of God and of ourselves. But as these are connected together by many ties, it is not easy to determine which of the two proceeds." And so this is saying basically, know yourself that you may know God. That sounds, I don't know if I'm still connected there. I hope I am. Hey, Chef Eddie. That sounds kind of almost sacrilegious, but hear me out. So, especially if you are a believer, then you believe that the Spirit of God lives within you, okay? And oftentimes God speaks to us. I know I've never felt, I grew up in the church. I've been a Christian. I was baptized when I was 7, but I've never really felt like I could hear God. That always seemed really woo-woo to me, honestly. But then I started to learn that God speaks to us He can speak to us through our emotions. He can speak to us through our passions. And oftentimes we are just going, especially in our culture today, and especially in this season. We're going, and we don't slow down to listen to what's going on inside of us. And oftentimes God is trying to speak to us through what our emotions are doing. So, asking myself, why does it irritate me so much when Kingston leaves a glass in the sink when the dishwasher is dirty? Why do I get so flustered when Zeal spills his oatmeal for the umpteenth time? Why am I always running late and in a hurry and rushing the kids along? Those questions can really allow, God doesn't exist outside of reality. So if we're not being real with ourselves and real with our feelings and real with what's going on inside, then we're not giving God an opportunity to speak to us about ourselves or about how He wants to direct our day or our time. So on this Giving Tuesday, giving God and ourselves undivided attention. We can't give ourselves, I heard it described as, I'm trying to remember where I heard it. I heard it described as being like a jar of river water, right? If you're constantly going, then you're just shaking up that jar of water. And when you are still, right? Still and know that, be still and know that He's God, just still before the Lord, then all that murk and mess can settle down to the bottom and you can see clearly what's going on inside of you. So I want to encourage us to give the best gift this Giving Tuesday of time, to our time and communing with our children, communing with our spouse, and communing with the Lord, and just time with ourselves. I feel like there's more I wanted to say. Let me check my notes. So when we are spending time, giving the gift of time, undivided attention to the Lord and to ourselves, then we can bring our true self to community with others and be more present and live with more integrity with others. Oh yeah, and that's really good too. I gotta say that. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this live, but so this is the best thing we can do for our families. So God, at the end of our lives, God isn't going to ask why. My YouTube channel is geared towards mothers, so for any men that are joining, I'm sorry, but I'm talking mostly to moms. But no, this applies to dads too, and married and single. So at the end of our lives, God isn't going to ask us, why we weren't the other person, why we weren't the mom that we saw on Pinterest or on Instagram, why we weren't the other employee in the office. God is holding us accountable to being who He called us to be, to just being uniquely us, and glorifying Him in a way that only we can. So just like our children and our spouses are a gift from God to us, we are a gift from God to them. So when we give undivided attention to our children, our spouses, and to the Lord, then we can be that gift to them more fully. I hope that all made sense. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Yolanda. And I hope it's a blessing to someone today. If you want to read more about the last point that I was talking about, communing with the Lord and giving Him undivided attention and knowing ourselves better that we might know God, if you want to see that in Scripture, I'm going to post in the comments of this post an article that you can read from Emotionally Healthy Spirituality, which is really good. So, okay, I hope that's a blessing to someone, and I hope that you choose to bless others with the gift of your time this Giving Tuesday. All right, take care. This is awkward. Take care. And if you want to, also, if you want to follow me on YouTube, you can. It's called Holistic Holiness. I think you can just YouTube my name or Holistic Holiness. And I'm going to be continuing this journey this month. Like I said in the beginning, it's about the spiritual discipline of community, or Christian community or fellowship. And last month was prayer. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to get off here before I say something stupid. All right, hey, Gabe. All right, take care, everyone.